From Swoop, it's Take the Plunge, a podcast about how business owners decided to stop what they were doing and took the plunge to start their own business. We take a look at how they came to that decision and what those first crucial steps were in getting their business up and running. My name's Kieran. I'll be your host for this episode. Here's what you can expect on today's episode.
We wanted to give loads of people, friends, family, acquaintances, all a free trial to sort of test out the product, leave like feedback and stuff. And from that, a lot of people put it on their stories. So sort of sharing it out, tagging Alyve. And from that, we got quite a few sales, which we weren't expecting at all.
Today, I'm delighted to be joined by Sam Price, founder and CEO of Alyve. Alyve is a fully personalized vitamin subscription tailored to your lifestyle and dietary factors, receiving nothing more, nothing less, just exactly what your body needs. Alyve also provides home blood kit tests to track and monitor how you are under the hood. You're very, very welcome, Sam. How are you doing today?
I'm good today. How you doing, Kieran? Thank you for having me here.
Great. Well, Sam, can I start from the very beginning? Can you let me know what you were doing before setting up Alyve and kind of why you stopped that and decided to take the plunge, so to speak, and set up your business?
Yeah, so I mean, Alyve, I really sort of started concepting back in September 2019. And before then, I just recently come back from traveling. So I finished university in 2018, went traveling for a bit, and then worked for two different companies, Dot Digital and Canon. So I worked for Canon for a few months, a temp contract. And then I sort of left in that eerie world of contract was over and looking for a job again. And whilst at university, I was always sort of dabbling with different business ideas and always sort of thought that whatever, I wouldn't go searching for the business idea, it would sort of come to me. And after traveling, I sort of my own health issues, I experienced sort of problems that I was just sort of having with energy issues, sleeping correctly, sort of focusing. So I went to the doctors, as you do, and as I went to the doctors, they sort of came to the evaluation that I sort of had ADD, and I always sort of had them symptoms of it and stuff. But I was like, right, okay, just a bit weird how sort of symptoms all sort of came on set. And so they gave me some medication. It didn't really agree with me. Me being me, I didn't really just sort of settle there. I was like, right, okay, what do I do now? So as you do, you go to Google and do some searching and found the amazing world of nutrition. And I was originally already sort of taking a multivitamin, and I sort of did some deeper searching and looked into the benefits of botanicals like ashwagandha, I used different herbs, L-theanine, all those sort of things. And as I bought some and started testing them out, it really sort of, the benefits from them were really quite amazing and overwhelming. And I was like, why is there nowhere in the first place that I could have just gone to and just gone, look, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I want to work on. Can you tell me what I need and what's better, provide it for me? And so there was one or two people in the field at the time, and they were obviously all different. And I was like, well, it's really just about something that's simplistic in one bottle. And so, yeah, from about September 2019 till about August 2020, when we launched, it was just concepting, designing, experimenting, getting together the right people. I mean, obviously, as much as I like to think I know about nutrition, I'm not a nutritionist, so I had to find the nutritionist side and then the tech side, because obviously that's the other part of it, is finding the right tech team to obviously be able to work together and in essence get them in contact and then build what in essence is a very simplistic system, but putting that in place. And so yeah, it was just sort of the right time, right place. And I was like, you know what, go for it. I put every penny I had behind this. I was confident from the get-go. And that's where we are now.
Talk to me kind of about the kind of sourcing element, because as you say, you're not a nutritionist, running a multivitamin brand. How do you go about kind of finding the materials, kind of deciding kind of how to package things up and like talk me through that process?
Yeah, so I mean, in essence, one of our USPs is why we're able to keep costs lower is all our formula variations are pre-made with our manufacturer to save obviously needing the necessities for a white room and obviously the staff to have to manually pack each pill. So we have each formula variation, which could be an outcome pre-made with our manufacturer. And so obviously in the manufacturing process, with the quality controls done, the weighing, the dosing, the formulating, that's all done beforehand. So we then receive the boxes all sealed and ready to go. So it's a matter of pretty much matching up when the order comes through. Our system then tells us what formula it's matching it with and putting the label on that bottle and sending off to customers. And yes, I mean, obviously the experts we had were sort of industry leading nutritionists and doctors from Harley Street. who basically formulated what each one is going to individually do, because obviously you'll have ingredients that'll be more energy focused and sort of from mental sort of cognition focused, whereas other
Yeah.
ones would be for like immunity. So yeah, it's completely different formulas, completely different ingredients, all of them. But yeah, so the legwork's already done beforehand, which is allows us to keep a cheaper unit cost provided to our
Yeah.
customers, which in turn makes a more affordable, sustainable routine.
Nice. So like really focusing on the supply chain in terms of the bits you can impact and then slotting in the kind of expertise where necessary. The other aspect you kind of touched on, and I'm going on your website, is it's very easy to use. The UX is really easy to kind of go through in terms of building my own requirements. And from a customer experience point of view, it's quite useful. You've got intercom wrapped around it should I want to have a kind of a chat. Had you experience in building out websites before or designing out kind of customer journeys, or was that something you had no experience about? And how did you go about kind of getting to where you are with the platform that you have?
Yeah, so I mean, same as the nutrition part, as much as I like to think I'm a UX and graphic designer, I have no expertise or experience in them exactly. So that was obviously finding the right people to work alongside us. But I was very much set on the design of what we wanted, how we wanted the flow to work. A lot of competitor reviews, a lot of successful D2C brand reviews, how that customer journey starts from end to finish, reviewing the first touch point in the ads to then going through to the final email flows, and was being very finicky. I knew exactly what we wanted, how we wanted the brand to sound, how easy and simplistic we wanted. And so, yeah, that was finding the right, UX designers to help us on board and really bring Alyve to life.
Were there a couple of key personnel involved in that first year in terms of people you brought in to get to Alive where it is that you look back on, you're like, really was worthwhile bringing that kind of skill set in?
Yeah, I mean, at first, I can't lie, we did look at the Fiverr route, finding
Yeah,
freelancers on there. So obviously, it's a lot more affordable and cost effective. And after a couple of months of going live with that, we were like, right, no, we need someone proper.
yeah.
So we found some decent UX designers and basically just sort of got them on board. So no one was actually in house. A lot of it was outsourced through agencies or individuals. But yeah, so we've only really sort of the past 6 or 7 months actually had sort of people in house working for us.
How was that experience? I suppose hiring that first person in house, was that a daunting experience? And kind of who was it that you got the first role into the company?
Yeah, it was definitely a first. I mean, I'm normally the one used to being the other side of that interview room, so I was obviously getting used to being on the other side of the table. But no, I mean, surprisingly, it was really quite effective. I mean, obviously through the pandemic, it was all online, so no face to face at all. It was Zoom, some screening questions, obviously some CV scanning. But yeah, I mean, some of our employees, like the nutritionists, still haven't met face to face yet, obviously through the pandemic. So it is a very bizarre situation to be in to not have actually met your employees face to face. But yeah, it was actually surprisingly a lot easier than I thought it'd be. I mean, big thing we hire on is personality. So that was something from off the bat we made sure we worked along. So we knew someone who's working for the company was someone we could work along, like obviously have working together on a regular basis.
And what does an alive personality look like?
Oh, wow, good question. Someone who, I mean, in essence, the skill part is, I mean, for nutritionists, you need that, but it's very much we
Yeah.
believe you can train skills, you can't train personality. So the personality, I guess, would be someone who's considerate, thoughtful, driven, self-motivated, but someone who also wants to be a part of something, who's part of like wants to join a journey and enjoys working in a team, being part of the
Nice.
family. Yeah, I mean, we haven't got it written down, but that's probably as close as it would get to the a live
There,
persona.
there you go. We just on your values.
I'll write that one down.
Um, yeah. Talk me through. You get it up, you get it live. The very first sale. Who was it from in terms of a non-friend and family sale? How did it feel, and kind of where did it come from?
Oh, yeah, that's a really good question as well, actually. So the first sale was, I mean, one of our marketing methods we had when we first started, we wanted to give loads of people, friends, family, acquaintances, all a free trial to sort of test out the product,
Yeah.
leave like feedback and stuff. And from that, a lot of people put it on their stories. So sort of sharing it out, tagging Alive. And from that, we got quite a few sales, which we weren't expecting at all. We just sort of organically, which is a really
Nice.
nice feeling, seeing that first Shopify thing up on my phone, and I was like, I could get used to this. It's a very
How
dopamine.
how addicted are you to your Shopify account?
At first, it was bad. Now I've learned to turn off notifications. So yeah, at first it was very much a dopamine rush thing. You're sitting there, you go, oh, when's the next one coming? But yeah, no, it was a very nice feeling, to be fair. It's that sort of after months of concepting, idealizing, getting research, feedback, it's the first bit of, okay, this concept's got traction. It's proving that method to your madness.
Hmm.
Because in reality, until you get that first sale, it's all just hearsay.
Yeah, absolutely. And how did you kind of go on from that? Like, 'cause you talked about obviously friends and family campaign, organic through Instagram stories. Did you start to experiment then for the first couple of months over like different strategies, paid media, content? Like, what kind of stuff did you get up to?
Yeah, well, I think when we first started it in my head, because obviously it's my first real business I run, I thought there was a bit of not arrogance per se, but naivety of thinking you could just set up the business, get some ads running, and that was that sorted. And you
Yeah,
don't realize how complex Facebook ads are, Google ads are, how to make decent content, decent copy, and then
yeah,
you realize, right, every day you're improving, you're looking at it, reviewing it, and changing it. And then organic has definitely been our best method so far because people obviously with vitamins, it's you're putting something in your body, it's something that's going to have effect on your wellness, whether it's your mind or like obviously mind, physique, and stuff. So people want to trust what they're putting in their body, and obviously word of mouth and influence is obviously a very strong credibility when making references. So they definitely have a strong part, and obviously along with our Trustpilot reviews going up. I mean, we've had a lot more. Obviously, our CRO's gone up because obviously people go when they go to your website to start and they see you on Trustpilot and you've got 2 reviews and they go, let me work this one out. But yes, I think it when we first started, it was very much trying to get obviously micro influencers. Obviously, you want to support a small
yeah.
business who like wellness and haven't tried personalized nutrition before. And yeah, I mean, we left the PPC actually for a while because of obviously the maintenance it needs,
Hmm.
which we're actually restarting again now. We've actually just had some investment behind us. So that'll
Nice.
be interesting to see when we start pushing those numbers out, how they go back.
And you kind of mentioned the reviews side of thing. Like, how do you find getting the reviews coming in? Do you take them all personally? Have you got to a stage where you're like kind of a little bit more numb to them, or are you kind of just analyzing every single one as they come in?
Yeah. I think we definitely look at each one that comes up. I definitely look at them personally. It's at first it was you look at everyone in very fine detail, and then you realize it is just not. It's end of the day, it's your business. It's not you personally, so you have to detach
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah.
But we're quite glad to say that out of the 70 something reviews we've had, we've only had one star.
Yeah.
And the only comment on that was didn't smell nice. So we were like, fair enough. I mean, you're buying more natural smelling vitamins, so we'll
Yeah,
take that one star.
yeah. You're always going to have those, so it's a case of just focusing on the 76 others probably.
Yeah, exactly.
And as a kind of like a B2C product, like what are some of the biggest challenges you've had in terms of getting the product out to consumers' hands? Like, has it been tough because up until this point, maybe the investment's landed, you're kind of limited in terms of your outreach capacity. Like, what kind of challenges have you faced?
There's definitely another part I think is in nowadays to be a successful D2C brand. I think unless you are the new, I don't know, I guess Gymshark or something that's very new and not been done before, as in completely state of the art, it is very hard to organically really grow
Yeah,
bootstrap to some extent, especially in the nutrition industry, which is whilst the personalized vitamin industry is quite niche, the vitamin
mm,
industry is massive. So it's hard to make a noise for yourself without a sort of ad budget and marketing budget behind you, which is why we're obviously glad we've obviously now got this ability to do so. But yeah, it's a very noisy industry, especially through Facebook ads, Instagram ads, where every time you scroll through, you've got every other post is a new energy drink or a new pre-workout or something. It becomes sort of white noise to people. So it's
yeah,
about breaking through the mold and making people really see what your brand's about, being more than just a product, having sort of some really strong core values behind you and really sort of good design, UX, copy, and everything. There's so much to it. It's not
yeah,
just post and go make money. It's so many different aspects. You've always got to constantly changing and shopping, and
mm,
especially social media as well. Social media is such a crucial aspect to show that you've got a tone of and a good tone of voice people can relate to. Because in
yeah.
the day, people buy into a product, but people buy into a brand more.
You've kind of touched on so many different aspects to a business there in terms of kind of the marketing, tone, and voice side of things. I'd imagine from where you are now to where you are maybe 18 months ago, you were wearing a humongous amount of hats. How is your kind of role? I'm sure you're doing fucking loads still, but how have you kind of changed between now and say 18 months ago in terms of the types of roles that you're doing and the types of roles you're bringing people in to do?
Yeah, I mean the hat rack's definitely still pretty full.
Yeah.
But I think the hats have there is a few that have been taken off.
Yeah.
So I mean we've got people helping you in marketing now. We've got a CTO on board. So in essence, whilst I'm still in communication with them, reviewing every sort of big decision, I've been able to sort of dedicate myself elsewhere. So we've got a fulfillment team in now, so where it was just me starting, doing all the orders myself and having to juggle between meetings, customer review, obviously like replying back to customers, fulfillment, marketing, ads, everything. It was really like 12-hour days in the office just weren't enough.
Yeah.
So now having everyone else, it's been a massive. I completely say I can actually feel just like a lighter weight off my shoulder. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, exactly. I feel like 10 stone lighter.
Maybe it's the vitamins.
Yeah, it's one or the other. But no, having team members has definitely been a savior. I mean, as I think it was, I can't know what to say now. It's the founder of Vogue. She says, no matter how strong individual you are nothing without your team. And as I've
You
brought
want to,
team members on, it's I can't relate more. It's just definitely been very very
that,
helpful.
yeah, that's your one Anna Wintour with the sunglasses, isn't it?
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah,
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 yeah. Anna Winter.
yeah, yeah. And kind of you touched on the kind of funding aspect. Obviously, very bravely, as you said, put in a lot of your own cash up front or every penny that you had, as you said. At what point did you say, okay, I'm onto something here, it's grown, but could really do with a bit of extra cash to take this to the next level? Kind of what point in time were you starting to identify that?
It was actually, funnily enough, the other way around. So we I didn't actually initially have the intention of funding from off the bat. We obviously looked at bootstrapping from the go, and
Yeah,
then Crowdcube, so the platform we used,
yeah,
they reached out to me. So we launched in August. They reached out in about September, October,
yep,
and they were like, "Hey Sam, really love the brand, the concept, everything about it. Have you thought about
yep,
crowdfunding?" And at first, I thought, you know what? Don't really think we need to dilute equity now or need the stress that comes with it.
yeah,
So I was like, thanks for the offer. No, you'd be back in sometime soon. And they're like, no
yeah.
problem. Next month again. Sam, been following your social media, really love the posting. It'd be really great on our platform. So I was like,
Yeah,
okay, let's look into this. And then obviously did some digging around and realized our competitors have all done funding. And it's like, in essence, is to really compete with our competitors if
yeah,
they've got several hundred thousand behind them in marketing budget and product, brand strategy, everything. It is
yeah,
hard to organically compete with that.
yeah,
So we looked into it. And they obviously sell you the dream of going, yeah, basically post your thing up and it's
yeah,
money in your pocket. And so you go,
yeah,
okay. And then obviously as you get into it, they're like, right, but you need to obviously find this investment yourself first.
yeah.
So that was about
Next
three
big
months
step.
taken of my time is daily
Yeah,
talking to investors. And we obviously managed to find about 150 in ourselves before we
good.
went live.
And
Um,
did you use like the SEIS scheme or EIS scheme?
yeah, it's
You
SEIS
did.
and EIS. So we have
Nice.
both of those.
Good man.
Yeah, so everyone was very keen to obviously get the first ones on the SEIS, so that
Yeah,
50% off. It's a
I
nice little
gotta
number.
gotta get in early. And
Exactly.
then what? I mean, Crowdcube is a brilliant platform, especially for B2C. But one of the things people may not know about crowdfunding is when you do bring, say, that £150,000 to the table, often they'll be still charged on that money from a raise perspective, from a crowdfunding platform. How did you find that aspect?
Yeah, I mean, that was another part I was sort of like umming and ahhing about. But I guess in the essence is whatever you find, they bring to you on top. And
Hmm.
I guess in essence, if we were to only stick with, so we basically found 150 ourselves, and the
Yeah,
Crowdcube topped up about 70. So obviously we wouldn't have found the extra 70 if it
of
wasn't for
course.
Crowdcube. So the amount they take off, we sort of, I guess, deducted that from how much they did.
Yeah,
But I think most people sort of, there is obviously people who seek out and find your investment and they charge a normal success fee of 5%
that's true.
anyway.
That's true.
So we sort of thought, you know what, for the additional income, not income, but investment it can bring, we thought it was worth it. And it's the publicity behind it as well. So we did
Absolutely.
have investors going, so why are you actually going for Crowdcube? And we said, as a small business who's obviously trying to make a name for themselves, Crowdcube is a big platform, whether it's for connections, publicity, etc., etc. I mean, we've definitely had
100%.
a lot of like benefits from it since,
Yeah.
people reaching out and like,
And how did you find the experience in terms of getting ready? Because I know one of the things that the crowdfunding platforms really want to emphasize is putting effort into your assets, whether it's your pitch video, your imagery, and how you're presenting to the crowd, so to speak. How did you find going through that process?
Yeah, I think with the team they provide you, they help you quite a bit. But I think it's obviously, yeah, the more you get into it, a lot more work there is to do. And as you could just do a base amount of work to really get the campaign off the ground, but you don't want to just provide the standard entry level where you obviously want to provide, especially not even just for investment amount, for how you're showing your brand to the world. You want to make sure everything's pitch perfect and excuse the term.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it was a long process, but well worth it.
And one of the other aspects, I'd imagine if they haven't come knocking on your door, they will. So if you're selling through Shopify, Shopify will obviously start to notice your monthly sales might go hopefully in the right direction upwardly. So they might say to you, "Hey, we can provide you a facility for your monthly payments." Have they approached you on that, or have you looked at those type of kind of revenue based financing at all?
Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so we've been speaking to other ones. I don't know if you go to Clearco.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So they're not sure we were speaking to for it's basically a last minute sort of inventory or marketing boost.
yeah,
So I'm sure you obviously know how it works, but obviously they basically match I think your last month's revenue as a
yeah,
loan, and then you pay it back through percentage of your sales.
yeah,
But yeah, so we haven't obviously approached them yet. We're waiting for obviously if we need to, it's a
yeah.
backup option.
Yeah, I mean, and as you say, once you get your ads up and running, you might see some good unit economics there that might make it interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
Sam, it sounds like you got like awesome stuff going on, all going in a good direction. So, kind of, how do you kind of perceive the next kind of 12 months going for Alive?
Next 12 months for us is looking basically we're doing a strategic rechange currently in the maps now.
Yeah,
So we have sort of, whilst we had an MVP, which we sort of showcased to the world, which was done on a sort of a small initial budget based off my own preference and experience and a little bit of obviously subcontractor work here and there. We are stripping back our whole strategy, same concept and everything, but the delivery method of how customers will now receive their product, the monthly top ups, as well as everything else, is going to be completely changed for a more sustainable environmental view, for a more cost effective view for them, and a really quality piece of packaging. So we won't publicly announce what's happening just yet, but
nice.
it's looking pretty good. And then from there on, once all those things are in place and ready to go, it will just be scaling as basically as hard as fast as possible, getting our name out there to the world, showing people to how the benefits of personalized nutrition if they're not on personalized nutrition, as in like if they're already taking vitamins, and then obviously educating those who don't currently have a nutritional regime and showing them the benefits of nutrition and personalized nutrition. So, I mean, there's 17.8 daily vitamin users in the UK alone. So there's quite a big market to tap into. Just the right educational program and the right sort of benefits of why not even just sort of why personalized nutrition is better, but how you can save money too. So if you were to purchase each ingredient from our capsules now, which obviously are very generous dosages, you save between 50% to 70% of what you spend now. If you're obviously
Wow.
purchasing each one individually from a health food store. So yeah, it'll basically the next 12 months will be a lot of customer acquisition and really building the Alyve tech side up, providing more
Yeah.
through our back end, sort of more free wellness abilities through free content and sort of live streams, nutritionists and stuff like that and so on. Mm.
Well, Sam, thanks so much for coming on and sharing the first kind of 2 years or so. Pretty excited to see how you get on. Definitely have an awesome attitude and a real openness to kind of adapt and change as you get more investment, more customers. So I've no doubt you're going to smash it. And look forward to trying a bit of live myself. So thanks again
Yeah.
for coming on. Much appreciated, mate. Cheers.
No worries at all, Kieran. Thank you so much for your time. It's been great chatting.